very warm virtual welcome on this December morning from London. Great to have you with us today for our supplier webinar on road infrastructure in the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland. My name is Vera Meyer. I'm the Deputy Head of Advantage Austria here in London, die stellvertretende Wirtschaftsdelegierte am AußenwirtschaftsCenter in London, and I will guide you through the first part of this webinar. Together with our colleagues from Dublin, we have prepared an insightful and hopefully also entertaining 60 minutes on the UK's and Ireland's future vision on road infrastructure. Before we immerse ourselves into this topic though, just a few quick words on the two not too subtle elephants in the room. The past months have been quite challenging for all of us. On the one hand, around the world, COVID-19 has swept in and turned many aspects of our lives upside down. The United Kingdom was hit especially hard, struggling with less than ideal preconditions and a health system suffering from years of austerity policy. This prompted the UK government to implement quite long and quite extensive sector lockdowns in the first as well as the second wave that we are experiencing at the moment. These sector lockdowns took their toll on the economy, with the UK's GDP forecasted to shrink by 10%, which is a positive forecast, for this year, and a very slow expected economic recovery, slower than for most other countries on the continent. On the other hand, there is still no clarity about the future relationship between the United Kingdom and the European Union. The curtains on the final Brexit drama will draw to a close on the 31st of December, so 30 days from now, and the UK is undoubtedly in for a double whammy, compounding the economic fallout of the pandemic with the consequences of Brexit. Please allow me a quick side note here. Our office has already published quite extensively on the topic of Brexit, providing guidance and assistance. And if your business is affected, please have a look at our website, wko.at/außenwirtschaft/gb. Get in touch with us should you not find an answer to your questions there. And we are of course happy to help. And although we might not be able to take away the pain, at least we can reduce the uncertainty. But to those of you who have already mentally put the UK onto the sidelines, you will miss out on lucrative business opportunities in the coming years. In order to contain the economic consequences, the UK government has implemented an ambitious program of subsidies, grants, and targeted investments, including a 5.5 billion investment program to especially provide incentive for the construction and infrastructure sectors. To provide you with sound first-hand market knowledge, we've planned a series of webinars on procurement structures in the infrastructure sector here in the UK for Austrian companies. Today is the fourth part of our series, and we focus on road infrastructure. The past editions we have dealt with rail infrastructure, the healthcare sector, and also public transport. This webinar on road infrastructure therefore concludes our series, and as we all know, we have to finish strong. So today's agenda, we will definitely start off with a close-up on the United Kingdom. We have a special focus on England, as we are happy to welcome two expert speakers who will join us from Highways England, the organization that builds and maintains England's strategic road network. Joining us shortly will be Saniela Kelly, Strategic Sourcing Director, and Simon Diggle, the Head of Supply Chain Development. In the second part of the webinar, we will then travel on to the Republic of Ireland, where our colleague Josef Tremer will take over, giving you an overview of developments and opportunities on the island. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce my colleague Peter Franklin. He's the Senior Sector Manager at the AußenwirtschaftsCenter London, in charge of construction and infrastructure, and he will give you a short introduction into the UK's road infrastructure sector. So, as I get off, Peter, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Vera, and good morning to everybody. So last week, the UK government published its national infrastructure strategy for the next 5 years, and it confirmed investment of £27 billion in the UK strategic road network between now and 2025. The government's committed to a net zero carbon target by 2050 and sees a development of modern methods of construction, and in particular off-site manufacturing, as key to a faster and more efficient delivery of infrastructure. The UK is also an early adopter of new technology, and there will be many opportunities for digitalisation, AI, robotics, and other emerging technologies. The detailed investment plans for road infrastructure are described in the 5-yearly road investment strategy, which was published earlier this year. This sets out long-term strategic vision, details funding, lists planned road schemes, and specifies performance standards. The strategy states clear aims which suppliers should have in mind when engaging with Highways England and their supply chain. Any products that offer solutions to meet one or more of the key objectives listed here will be well received. The government brought forward to 2030 the date from which the sale of new petrol and diesel cars will be banned, so the provision of electric vehicle charging will become a priority. And the government's also keen to make road infrastructure compatible with developments in smart technologies and connected and autonomous vehicles. I strongly recommend reading the following strategy documents for the documents here for an understanding of what will be driving procurement in road infrastructure in the coming years. I've just mentioned the first two. Highways England have published their own strategic and delivery plans with more details of ongoing and planned schemes. And the government's infrastructure and construction pipeline lists details of projects planned across infrastructure for 2020 and 2021. So who actually maintains and builds the UK's networks? The UK's road networks. In England, as you've heard, the strategic road network, that's the motorways and the trunk roads, are built and managed by Highways England. You'll hear from them in a moment, so I'll just say at this stage, I'd just like to draw your attention to the supplier information on their website, which details, gives a lot of detail as to what they require from you as a supplier. In other parts of the UK, the strategic road networks are managed by Transport Scotland, Transport for Wales, and in Northern Ireland, the Department for Infrastructure Roads. In London, Transport for London have responsibility for road infrastructure as well as the wider transport strategy. And elsewhere, local roads are maintained by local authorities or district councils. In some urban, major urban areas, new sub-national transport bodies are taking responsibility for the strategic development of road networks in their region, working together with government and Highways England. The next slide lists the existing sub-national transport bodies with links to their strategies, their transport strategies, where these have already been published. This slide shows some of the headline projects coming on stream over the next 5 years. The £2 billion Stonehenge tunnel project's due to start construction next year. Sorry, not next year, 2022. It was given approval to proceed by the Transport Secretary last month. There's a £7 billion project for a new tunnel under the River Thames east of London, due to start in 2023. That's currently undergoing a design review. The A66 Transpennine Tunnel is a key arterial route across the north of England, crucial for connections between major ports in Northern Ireland and Scotland and the east coast of England. That's a £1 billion upgrade, which is currently in the design stage. And the road infrastructure strategy also sets out a priority maintenance and renewals programme for the network's more than 20,000 structures, which is also worth bearing in mind. I've already mentioned the opportunities for technologies. Highways England have their own innovation portal with case studies showing the wide range of projects that they are involved with. Tender opportunities are published on tender websites such as compete4.com and Contracts Finder. Some of the major tier 1 contractors, engineers and project managers such as Balfour Beatty and Amy are involved in construction or maintenance frameworks with Highways England and their equivalents. And the winners of these frameworks are reported in trade press. We've listed here a few of the major trade publications which carry news on projects and who's won those projects. And we're happy to give you more information about some of these companies and magazines afterwards, if just get in touch. Networking is important in the UK, and we've listed here some of the most important events which you might like to attend. And now I would like to I'd like to hand over to Sanyala Kelly, I beg your pardon, and Simon Diggle from Highways Agency, who will give you an insight into Highways England, who will give you an insight into Highways England's future strategy and tips on how best to engage with them and their supply chain. Simon is head of supply chain development at Highways England, and he's played a key role in developing and implementing Highways England's procurement and commercial strategies. He's actually responsible for developing a supply chain fit to deliver that £27 billion roads programme I've talked about. He leads on the strategic communications and engagement with Highways England's supply chain. But first, we shall hear from Sanyala, who is Strategic Procurement Director for Highways England. She joined Highways England in January 2020, leading pre-procurement and post-procurement activities for the organisation. Prior to that, Sanyala worked in heavy industry, defence and pharmaceutical industries, where she led on procurement transformation. Sanyala, I'd like to pass over to you.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning, everyone. I'm really happy to be here actually because I started my career in heavy industry with an Austrian organization, and I would say that I wouldn't have get to where I am here today without the investment and opportunity during my 10 years at the Austrian company. So I spent a lot of time in Linz and in Vienna, so really happy to be here. To give you guys an overview of what's our plan. I'm going to take you a section in terms of Highways England, overview of our investment plan, and then I will hand it over to Simon. Thank you. So this our RP2 stands for Road Period 2. This is our 5-year funding program. It's significantly higher than Road Period 1. We will continue to deliver against our 3 imperatives, which is really important to us, is safety, customer and delivery. And within that £27 billion, we will be supporting 64,000 jobs and split this into 10.8 billion in operation and maintenance and 14.2 billion in enhancement scheme. Not only that, we will be spending money around reducing carbon footprint in the area that what we call designated funding, which I will share with you later on. We have a commitment that we need to deliver 2.2 billion efficiency out of those 27 billion pounds. So Peter shared with you earlier in terms of some key documents. So you will have a copy of this presentation, and within, if you go to different link on the slide, you can get to see a much in-depth detail in terms of our roads investment, our strategic business plan, and then most importantly, we have a commitment in terms of KPI. Every year we will be measuring how successful we are, and the KPI is not just on delivery but also on the environmental. Thank you. So Road Period 2 began 1st of April 2020, and this will run to the 31st of March 2025. As I mentioned earlier, it's significantly higher than Road Period 1. SRN, and we have a lot of acronym in Highways England, is the Strategic Road Network. We have a commitment to make the road network even safer, more resilient, better journey for our customer, and also minimizing impact on our environment. Thank you. So if you look at this over the next 5 years, we're splitting the 27 billion over number of different areas. 10.8 billion in operation and maintenance, which is maintaining the roadwork to make it safer for our customer. Enhancing scheme, building new roadwork. We will also be investing in our people and organization, and ring fence some of the funding around the environmental and carbon footprint. So for example, the 10.8 billion in operation and maintenance, as you can imagine, our road network is the backbone of the country. I think I was told that 4,300 miles that we, is the most busiest transport of modes that put together, which is going through our road network. So it's really critical for us to invest in terms of maintaining, in terms of maintenance of road network. There's going to be significant funding in terms of maintaining pavement structure renewal. We also upgrading our vehicle, including winter fleet, some technology in RTS transformation, and also asset delivery, which is really important around the safety on the barrier, the structure, the gantry, for an example. So and then in terms of enhancements or new scheme, there are actually 69 schemes in total. We have started some of the scheme back in Rhodes Period 1. For Rhodes Period 2, we will have 12 new schemes, and I have listed on there, and I think Peter already mentioned of some of the scheme already. Majority of our scheme going to be around southwest and southeast of England. Again, we want to make with this enhancement is to support 64,000 construction jobs that will deliver benefit to our customer in terms of using our road network and making it safer for them on their journey. So I mentioned a lot of it on around road, roadworks, designated funding, actually a special area where we will be working with more SME, innovative suppliers to help improve the environmental and well-being, and engaging with, won't be the normal, I would say, supply that we use in the big construction company, but more SME and local or new idea that will come through to help us design and reduce. I think Peter mentioned earlier as well around, the carbon footprint. So 4 areas we are focusing on is the safety and congestion fund, user and community fund, environmental and well-being fund. So that's included like biodiversity, carbon capture, and innovation and modernization fund. So any new construction material that we should be thinking of rather than using the current existing material to drive for lower carbon footprint, or to get to drive for better environmental outcome. Thank you. So this is I think from as an organization, we are committing that we will be delivering 2.2 billion efficiency back to our customer, to the FT, and this can be in number of areas, whether through maintenance, to enhancement, using procurement new way of procuring, using a new modern method of construction, through digital design, and work better integrated with supply chain and work with our tier 1 to drive that innovative thinking, and enhancing our skills and capability within the organization. So as I mentioned earlier, our 3 imperatives, but safety is our number 1 imperative. It's in our heart and soul. If you attended any Highways England meeting, as a new person coming in organization myself, we are taking safety really seriously, and hence why we are really focused on investing in terms of having our road network as one of the safest in the world. So we're looking at how we're going to do this is tackle safety hotspot, cut KSI by over half by 2025. So we want to improve safety on high risk road. Any accident cluster location, our focus on the suicide cluster area to improve, to reduce that KSI by the 2025, and renewal safety barrier. Again, that is one of the key focus that we're going to be focusing on in the operation and maintenance area. So just to recap, really, over the next 5 years, so we just, we're nearly through year 1 already. The investment of road period 2 to support 64,000 jobs, to save our customer over 20 million hours in traffic congestion. We want to open 50 schemes and removing roadworks and bringing more reliable journey to our customer, and invest over 14 billion in enhancement to connecting our key strategic road networks to allow for, quicker journey, whether through business or commuting for our customer. And last slide, I believe, having said all that, environmental is really critical for us. We are committing to support the government in terms of the ambition of net zero carbon footprint by 2050, reduce our carbon emissions. So, we have been working with our supply chain in terms of reducing, looking at their design, something like modern method of construction, so that it's less time as possible in terms of, installation on site, and actually increasing safety and transport in terms of logistics from one location to the road site, and tackle air quality exceedance as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Simon, because we can't do all of this by ourselves. We need the support and support from our supplier, whether they're in tier 1, tier 2 or 3, and the work that Simon and his team have been doing to develop the supply chain to help us delivering this program. Thank you. Over to Simon.
Okay, thank you, Saniela. Real pleasure to be here talking to you today. I thought there was a great introduction from Peter about the future of our next roads investment period. So I just want to expand on a few areas in relation to supply chain development. If you could just go to the first slide, which is the supply chain safety AFR, that's the accident frequency rate. I just want to go straight to safety, first of all, to reinforce the message that this is our #1 business imperative. We have 3 business imperatives: safety, customer and delivery, and we have 5 company values as well. And safety is a core part of what we do in terms of our culture as well. So I just want to flag this, if you are interested in working within Highways England's supply chain in whatever position, it needs to be first and foremost in your minds as well, in terms of driving safety performance ultimately. And we're very open about what our performance has been within the supply chain over the last 18 months here. We've had some big successes to bring that frequency rate down, and when we do have a blip in that performance, we do what we can to understand root causes and to respond to that, and to keep continually driving safety performance as high as we can get it. So absolutely need to make that point as part of the introduction to our supply chain development approach. If you go to the next slide, so this takes a look at overall direction over the next 5 years of the roads investment period. So there's slide shows 5 different steps of maturity of what we're aiming to do over that roads investment period. And with the £27 billion of investment, we've never had a better opportunity really to drive change in the highway sector and right through the supply chain as well. So the ambitions for that, with those large programs, good visibility of the pipeline of work, we would like to drive some major changes, some transformational changes in the highway supply chain. The outcome of which, once again, safety in its full sense, health, safety and well-being at the top of our agenda there, closely followed by bringing clearer, better value to customers throughout RIS2 and the efficiencies as well. We've got some very big targets in terms of efficiencies. The 2.3 billion is significantly higher than we had for the first Rhodes period. We successfully delivered the 1.2 billion pounds in the first 5 years, which was enough to cover the cost of the A14, probably the biggest piece of infrastructure investment we've ever made. So there were some big successes there, but looking to the future, we've got even bigger ambitions, so that when we get to the third road period, we've maintained our reputation for delivery. We've transformed the supply chain. We've got a high level of confidence that we could and should invest in highways. And there's a whole list of big ambitions there that we're aiming for. So just to pick out some of the new and challenging themes that we see through that Rhodes period. We've got a big focus at the moment on learning from other sectors, looking at manufacturing, production thinking, looking at logistics, and how can we learn from those industries, bring that into the highway sector, and really deliver some performance outcomes that drive better safety through more innovation, more efficiencies, more effectiveness. And we think that some of these priority areas are well worth investing in and transforming our highway sector supply chain. So that's a real big feature of us looking forward. We can't do that without strong leadership and cultural change and change management through that period as well. So something unique in this country is what we call the Rhodes Academy. It's an institution that supports leadership both within Highways England and the highway sector. The Academy itself brings together leadership from client and supply chain alike, and is really targeted at giving the leadership needed to drive this change through the supply chain over the next few years. We have some other partnerships as well with industry, such as the Manufacturing Technology Centre, and we are hoping that our partnership with that organisation and the work that our supply chain do with that organisation will help to drive the change that we're looking at here. Just move on to the next slide, please. So this is the supply chain school. So this is different to the Rhodes Academy. This is something that exists in the UK. The Supply Chain Sustainability School is an organisation that's got participation across all different sectors of construction and has some big focuses around carbon, people, wellbeing issues, equality, diversity and inclusion. And it provides training to the extended supply chain in the UK. Many of our major suppliers are members, as is Highways England, and so we use this organisation. We've just started a partnership with the Supply Chain Sustainability School, and so this works at the very high level. Our corporate partnership with them helps to identify priority areas for training on subjects such as modern slavery, new challenges around social value, and focusing on the legacy that we leave from our investment programs, and a range of other things, including sustainable procurement, carbon, counter-fraud issues. So that's what we do to drive the agenda at the corporate level. Within all of our big programs, such as the Lower Thames Crossing, our regional delivery programs, we have more detailed programs that are tailored to what the needs are for that particular region and the needs for that particular program, and that's all brought together within the consistent corporate themes as well, so that we are driving consistent supply chain development right through the extended supply chain and right across all our different investment programs. Just moving on to the next one, please. So we think about our supply chain development in 6 different themes moving forward. Some of these have clearly already been covered by Daniela, such as strategic procurement. I've mentioned leadership as a key focus for us with Rhodes Academy. The next theme, collaboration. One of the things that I run within Highways England is the communications and strategic engagement with the supply chain. And we have some structures in place that bring together the whole extended supply chain and bring together a representative leadership group of that supply chain. And what we want to do through that is bring the industry together. It's relatively complex and can be a fragmented supply chain. So those communication structures are really about bringing the industry together, the highways sector together, and working together to solve the challenges that we face. And that can be considered in terms of the life of the project as well. The left shifting element is about getting influence in the very early stages of design before the value is locked out, and so we bring the whole supply chain together. Design, planning, and development stages are considered in great detail, as well as the later construction stages. Forecasting is extremely important to us to make sure that we are driving predictability of cost and time, and the digital agenda has been touched on a number of times in terms of driving innovation in the sector that's really going to help us deliver that transformation over this Rhodes period. And just moving on to the last slide now. So yes, as I say, at the end of this 5-year period, our vision is driving the outcomes of safety remaining top priority, and really driving the highest possible performance on safety, as well as our other business imperatives of customer. And there's a whole range of things that we have touched on as well in terms of sustainability, innovation within our supply chain, generating healthy returns, and that's not just returns for the client in terms of investment, but where performance is good, driving up margins in the extended supply chain, so that there is opportunity to get the rewards from high performance and continuous development for everyone in the sector. And I think it's probably worth me just pausing there. That's the vision of where we want to be at the end of the second Rhodes period. So I think Daniela and I will be happy to take some questions on what we've talked about so far.
Thank you, Simon. Absolutely great to get this very comprehensive overview. I'd actually like to ask Daniela to join me again on the screen here. We had some questions coming in. Thank you, Daniela. Good to see you again. We had some questions. First and foremost, after this very comprehensive and good insight into your vision and where you are taking your supply chain, we had some questions about the practical aspects. So if we are an Austrian supplier that has not been in contact with you before, what's the best way of getting in touch? How can we get engaged?
Simon, shall I answer that? I think go to our website. There's a section on our website. I might be wrong here, Simon, for supplier to register themselves. Okay,
so that would be the best way. What are you actually looking for in a supplier? What's the most important aspects? What are the products you're looking for at the moment?
So for us, new supplier, we are really focusing on innovation. Both, how can we do things differently? It's a lot of what Simon mentioned around that, development, construction businesses seem, our equipment might be a bit, older, clunkier. So I think from my perspective in the pre-procurement stage is find a new supply that can help drive the innovation within the industry, which is something that, you know, Simon and I work really closely on to change. How can we be more innovative? How can we bring more ideas? And that's where the new supplier would be really helpful for us, so that we don't, you know, just use the same type supplier over the next 5 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Are you also incorporating innovation challenges or anything of that kind?
Correct. Yeah. So in my area, when we look at the category management, each category in terms of strategy, what I will be looking for is how can we drive the innovation. I mentioned about modern method of construction, because that will improve the delivery, but also safety. You know, that when we spend time installation on site, if we do as least as possible, we can improve the safety and number of people that get involved in that installation. And, you know, with COVID, we really learn, you know, how can we do this is better and safer than what we have done previously. So each of the category strategy have to come up with the new ideas, new way of thinking, and how do we catch up with other industry as well, which is something that Simon and I work outside, you know, not on the just day-to-day delivering a roadwork, but thinking beyond, you know, thinking beyond the next 5 years. What's our road period 3 would look like, and that innovation piece is really coming in.
Mm-hmm. You already touched upon one aspect that one of our viewers is very interested in. That's the development of skills for your people. Could you explain a little more how you want to go about this, how skill development in both of your areas is going to look like?
Okay, could I hand over to Simon, because Simon touched on the sustainability school. Maybe we can share that a little bit more.
Yeah, no problem. And I can probably add something to the previous question as well. So on the skills side, I suppose there's 2 main elements that we are working on now with the supply chain. The Rhodes Academy for senior level leadership. We're also looking to expand the offering of the Rhodes Academy so that it is accessible and relevant to the extended supply chain as well, not just the big consultants and contractors. So that focuses on the skill of leadership. But it's if you're looking at technical skills, that's more the function of the supply chain school that I referred to in the presentation. And yeah, there's a lot of technical aspects there. Just picking one example, we are working on what we call the Highways England Net Zero Carbon project. And like many things, if we're going to be successful, we want to work with the supply chain to understand the challenges there. So what are the solutions to achieving net zero carbon, and what are the skills that need to be built within the extended supply chain to help us achieve that? Other skills would include understanding the social value challenge. So that's a really big new theme for us at the moment as well.
Wonderful. And I have to say, the demand from people in our audience seems to be quite great. I still receive questions after questions. I would love to pass them on to you, Sanyala, and to you, Simon, so to get in touch with our companies that are highly interested to get engaged. So we will facilitate this in the next step, as our time is unfortunately running short. So I have to say thank you very much, Sanyala. Thank you very much, Simon, for joining us today. We will move on to our colleagues in Dublin shortly. So I have to say goodbye to you. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Look forward to hearing from you.
We have a couple of slides prepared for you with tips and tricks to get engaged in the United Kingdom, as well as some hints what other things you could look at if you are interested in the How to Supply To section. All of our webinars are on our YouTube channel. Please have a look and see if there's something else that you could get engaged with. So, and now, thank you very much from the UK. Over to Ireland. Bye bye.
Danke, Vera. Herzlich willkommen, sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, auch aus Dublin. Ich werde jetzt auf Deutsch weitermachen. Ich hoffe, das ist für alle von Ihnen in Ordnung. Ich melde mich aus einem Dublin, das jetzt nach 6 Wochen harten Lockdown einen Schritt in die Normalität gemacht hat. Heute sperren hier wieder Geschäfte zum ersten Mal auf. Sie werden hinter mir sehen, Sie sehen ein bisschen was von meinem Fenster, es ist eine gewisse Aktivität in die Dubliner Innenstadt zurückgekommen. Und nächste Woche folgen dann noch die Restaurants, Hotels. Also man versucht hier jetzt vor Weihnachten in eine gewisse Normalität zurückzukehren und wir hoffen alle, dass die Zahlen hier auch entsprechend niedrig bleiben. Corona ist allerdings nicht das einzige beherrschende Thema hier. Ganz Irland schaut auf die Brexit-Verhandlungen. Das ist für Irland ein wichtiges Thema. Ich erwähne das jetzt, da dieser Brexit für Sie als Zulieferer für öffentliche Projekte einfach auch Chancen bedeutet. Es wird, mir haben hier irische Experten gesagt, dass öffentliche Ausschreibungen zurzeit nicht Teil der Verhandlungen sind. Also es wird, komme was komme, ab 1.1. dürfen britische Unternehmen nicht mehr an öffentlichen Ausschreibungen in der Europäischen Union teilnehmen, die unter den sogenannten WTO-Schwellenwerten sind. Da sprechen wir von Schwellenwerten bei Produkten und Dienstleistungen von unter 140.000 Euro. Und jetzt kommt es bei Bauleistungen, dürfen britische Unternehmen nur mehr bei Projekten über 5 Millionen Euro daran teilnehmen. Das ist einerseits, diese Firmen haben sich zurzeit einen Löwenanteil der Ausschreibungen in Irland gesichert, einfach aufgrund der geografischen Nähe, der kulturellen Nähe und einfach, weil sie auch wissen, sehr genau wissen, was hier im kleinen Nachbarmarkt passiert. Mein Name ist Josef Dremel, ich bin der österreichische Wirtschaftsdelegierte in Dublin und betreue hier mit meinem Team österreichische Unternehmen, die sich zurzeit vor allem auch während Corona um die irischen Kunden kümmern, die auch hierher kommen, um Projekte weiter voranzutreiben, um Maschinen zu installieren, etc. Ich werde Sie heute, ich freue mich besonders, Ihnen heute einfach ein bisschen was zur Straßeninfrastruktur in Irland erzählen zu dürfen. Habe das aufgebaut in 3 Schwerpunktbereiche. Einerseits erzähle ich Ihnen oder zeige ich Ihnen, wo sind die Schwerpunkte in Irland anhand von verschiedenen Karten. Analysiere kurz die neue Regierungspolitik in dem Bereich, im Bereich Infrastruktur, Straßeninfrastruktur. Erzähle Ihnen kurz was zu den nationalen Strategien, die schon bis 2040 eigentlich ausformuliert sind, wo das alles hingehen soll. Und schließe dann ab mit einem Punkt zu Chancen und Möglichkeiten am Markt und natürlich öffentliche Ausschreibungen, E-Tenders, wo Sie zusätzliche Informationen dazu finden können. Bei Fragen bitte ich Sie, diese wieder in das Chatfenster zu schreiben. Ich werde am Ende dann alle Fragen beantworten. Ich werde so um die 10 Minuten sprechen und auch meine Präsentation und die Aufzeichnung bekommen Sie von den Kollegen in London dann im Nachgang zu dem Webinar übermittelt. So, dann beginnen wir jetzt. In der Vorbereitung auf das Webinar bin ich über die linke Karte gestolpert. Das ist eine Aufzeichnung der irischen Infrastruktur vor 300 Jahren. Und was schon damals wichtig war, sind diese sogenannten Turnpike Routes. Das sind, sagen wir mal, historische Zollstraßen, die schon damals dazu angetan waren, den Großraum Dublin mit den anderen Bevölkerungszentren des Landes zu verbinden. Einerseits Cork und Limerick im Süden, wie Sie sehen, und oben natürlich das industriell wirklich gut entwickelte oder auch damals wirklich gut entwickelte Belfast, Nordirland mit Belfast und Derry oder Londonderry, wie das im UK, die Stadt im UK genannt wird. Daneben die mittlere Karte ist aus dem Jahr 2015. Sie sehen, in Irland wurden viele Straßen die letzten 20 Jahre, also sehr viele Autobahnen, die letzten 20 Jahre gebaut. Wieder im ersten Schritt, und das ist das Erstaunliche, ist es fast eine Kopie dieser alten Turnpike Routes. Es wurden hier, es wurde einfach im ersten Schritt wurden die großen Bevölkerungszentren verbunden und dieser Ausbau schreitet auch weiter fort. Und die aktuelle Karte, die ist aus dem Jahr 2019, da sehen Sie die blauen sind die Autobahnen, dazwischen ist das das niedrigerrangige Netzwerk, Straßennetzwerk, vergleichbar mit den österreichischen Bundesstraßen, wenn man das so sagen will. Und was man jetzt schön langsam sieht, ist, dass nicht nur eben so wie früher bei den Turnpike Routes von Dublin aus das Land erschlossen wird, sondern dass jetzt zunehmend die einzelnen Städte untereinander dann verbunden werden. Also eines der Projekte mit höchster Priorität ist zum Beispiel Cork Limerick, Limerick Galway, wo es dann eine zusätzliche Route entlang des Atlantiks geben wird, wo dann auch noch im nächsten Schritt dann noch Sligo und Donegal im Norden erschlossen werden. Es gibt in Irland knapp 5000 Kilometer Straßen, davon 900 Kilometer Autobahnen und wieder von diesen ein Drittel wurden im Public-Private Partnership errichtet. Ich habe mir die Projekte durchgeschaut. Die meisten wurden von spanischen Unternehmen errichtet. Es gibt 2 Projekte, wo auch der österreichische Strabag beteiligt war. Eines davon in Limerick, wo auch einer dieser Autobahntunnels unter dem Meer durchgeht, wurde zum Beispiel auch hier von der Strabag errichtet. Bei den Brücken sprechen wir von 2665 Brücken, von denen wieder fast 600 als Public-Private Partnership errichtet. Im nächsten Slide komme ich dann ein bisschen einfach auf den Zustand auch der Brücken zu sprechen, der im Großen und Ganzen recht gut ist. Es gibt hier ein digitales System zur Kontrolle des Zustands der Brücken. Die Iren nennen das, also die zuständige Behörde nennt das Airspan. Das wurde vor ein paar Jahren eingeführt und erlaubt den Iren dadurch, also diesen Zustand der Straßen und auch der Brücken sehr genau zu kontrollieren oder zu überwachen. 45% des Verkehrsaufkommens wird in Irland auf der Straße abgewickelt. Es ist eigentlich wirklich fast die einzige, wie soll ich sagen, neben dem Meer und neben den Schiffen wahrscheinlich die wichtigste Transportart im Land. Rechts ein paar Key Facts zu Irland. Ich habe lustig gefunden, im Land gibt es 360 Salt Spreaders, wobei nur als Beispiel in Irland war letzten Winter, wenn ich jetzt zurückdenke, mein Auto vielleicht 10, 15 Mal überfroren, dass ich im Freien geparkt habe. Also diese Salt Spreader kommen vor allem im Großraum Dublin sehr selten zum Einsatz und die Überlandstraßen entsprechend öfter. Irlands Straßennetz, der Zustand. Sie sehen links den Zustand, also 22% des Straßennetzes. Es ist alles geviertelt, mehr oder weniger, oder gefünftelt, 20%. Ein Fünftel der Straßen sind eben in der beste Kategorie und dann geht es bis nach unten und ein Fünftel der Straßen, die sind wirklich erneuerungsbedürftig und das sind zum größten Teil auch Straßen, die am Land sind und in eher benachteiligteren und ruraleren Gebieten. Die zweite Grafik sehen Sie der Zustand der Brücken, wobei die blauen Balken eher gut, also das sind einfach der gute Brücken mit gutem Zustand und nur ganz rechts, also das orange, nicht orange, das rosarote und grüne, da sehen Sie Brücken, das sind so um die 300 Brücken, die dringenden Erneuerungsbedarf haben. Und ähnlich guter Zustand der Autobahnen bzw. der höherrangigen Straßen, wo fast, also bei den Autobahnen 96% der Straßen wirklich hervorragenden Zustand haben. Die Spieler, wenn man so will, am irischen Straßenverkehrsmarkt. Das ist einerseits die Transport Infrastructure Ireland. Die ist entstanden 2015 aus einem Zusammenschluss der für den Straßenbau zuständigen Behörde und der für den Schienenverkehr zuständigen Behörde und fasst jetzt einfach diese ganzen Bereiche in sich zusammen, wo es teilweise auch immer schon Überschneidungen gegeben hat, zum Beispiel Autobrücken über Schienen oder Untertunnelungen von Schienen. Die TII betreibt auch das Motorway Traffic Control Center und die Intelligent Transport Systems und ist wirklich so der Hauptplayer in dem Land. Die National Transport Authority ist besonders wichtig oder koordiniert alles im Bereich des öffentlichen Verkehrs. Ich habe es jetzt mit hineingenommen, da die National Transport Authority eine sogenannte Cycle Design Office hat, die, und das ist jetzt meine Vermutung, die nächsten Jahre immer wichtiger werden wird, da Irland voraussichtlich sehr viel Geld auch in den Bereich der Fahrradinfrastruktur investieren wird. Also wenn Sie da Produkte haben, die zum Beispiel Beleuchtung oder die Fahrradwege intelligenter machen können oder sicherer machen können, da ist jetzt Irland ein höchst interessanter Markt für Sie, auch Beschränkungssysteme etc. Da wird zurzeit sehr viel Geld in die Hand genommen und das ist eine Möglichkeit, wo einiges passieren wird die nächsten Jahre. Politikstrategie, das schließt gleich an. Sie sehen, die grüne Partei Irlands ist seit Juni hier in der Regierung. Die hat sich die Regierungsbeteiligung teuer abkaufen lassen. Das geht einerseits auf Kosten des Individualverkehrs. Andererseits wird geplant, dass jährlich 360 Millionen Euro für Fahrrad- und Fußgängerinfrastruktur ausgegeben wird über die nächsten Jahre. Also das ist ein schöner Batzen Geld, der da in diesen Bereich fließen wird. Und wie Sie sich vorstellen können, ist das nicht nur sind das nicht nur einfach asphaltierte Fahrradwege. Da geht es sehr viel um Markierungen, auch Brücken, Beleuchtung etc., um den Verkehr oder um einfach die Nutzung des Fahrrads als Transportmittel und auch den öffentlichen Raum für Fußgänger sicherer zu machen. Also da wird die nächsten Jahre sehr viel passieren. Die übergreifende Strategie zu dem Thema ist Project Island 2040. Das ist eine sehr langfristige Strategie und geht von einem Bevölkerungswachstum von 20% bis 2040 aus. Das ist ein Zweier zu viel. Sprich, die Bevölkerung wird von 5 auf 6 Millionen Euro ansteigen. Der wichtige Plan oder das Finanzierungsinstrument, das in diesen Island 2040 Plan eingreift, ist dieser National Development Plan, wo viele Gelder für den Ausbau der Autobahnverbindungen vorgesehen sind. Und wie ich vorher gesagt habe, geht es jetzt hier nicht mehr so sehr darum, Dublin mit dem Rest des Landes zu verbinden, sondern oder mit den bevölkerungsreichen Gebieten zu verbinden, sondern einerseits Dublin mit dem schlecht angebundenen Nordwesten zu verbinden und dann diese Radiale zwischen diesen einzelnen großen Städten an der Atlantikküste zu schließen. Und auch hier werden zurzeit wieder einige Private-Public Partnership-Projekte evaluiert, beziehungsweise wird geschaut, welche Bereiche sind oder kommen für Investoren in Frage, wo gibt es genug Verkehr, damit sich diese Projekte auch selber tragen. Das Intelligent Transport System, das werde ich jetzt eher überspringen. Da wird einfach auch im Rahmen von europäischen Projekten wird sehr viel in einfach Technologie, Sensoren in die Straßeninfrastruktur investiert. Es gab vor kurzem noch eine Ausschreibung zum Thema Network Intelligence and Management Systems, die Ende Oktober vergeben worden ist. Das war ein Riesenprojekt über 13 Millionen Euro. Und da werden Details dann in Kürze auch veröffentlicht. Also da passiert einiges. Diese diese Themen, auch Intelligent Street Lighting, ist ein riesiges Thema in Irland. Und in Dublin zum Beispiel werden zurzeit, also dieses Jahr und nächstes Jahr, wird der komplette Licht, die komplette öffentliche Beleuchtung ersetzt. Anschließend zu den Greenways. Wie gesagt, es ist geplant, da 360 Millionen Euro pro Jahr auszugeben. Es wurde erst vor ein paar Tagen, also vor 3 Wochen, hat die Regierung, und das ist der Minister Ryan, das ist der grüne Minister, hat angekündigt, 63,5 Millionen Euro für sogenannte Greenways auszugeben. Das Greenways sind Überlandfahrradwege, in Österreich vergleichbar vielleicht mit dem Treppelweg entlang der Donau, wo hier entlang von Kanälen oder alten Eisenbahnlinien Fahrradwege gebaut werden, einerseits für den Tourismus, aber auch einfach zur Naherholung für die eigene Bevölkerung. Und wenn Sie da Lösungen haben in diesem Bereich, also da ist jetzt Irland wirklich der richtige Platz für Sie, weil da werden noch sehr viele Projekte kommen, vor allem weil die Grünen auch einerseits den Transport- und Infrastrukturminister haben und die versprochen haben, entsprechend viel Geld in diesen Bereich zu investieren. Geschäftschancen, ich habe es erwähnt, vor allem Technik, Tiefbau, Engineering, IT und Technik, das sind die Themen, die hier gefragt sind. Die meisten österreichischen Firmen, die in dem Bereich tätig sind, arbeiten mit irischen Partnern, die das irische System kennen, die den irischen Bedarf kennen. Wenn Sie da auf der Suche sind nach einem Partner in Irland, schreiben Sie uns, kommen Sie auf uns zu. Wir kennen einige Firmen, die immer wieder auch interessiert daran sind, neue Produkte ins Portfolio aufzunehmen. Und da können wir Ihnen, glaube ich, wirklich recht gutes Service bieten, dass Sie da weiterkommen. Jetzt komme ich auch schon zum Ende. Ausschreibungen in Irland, E-Tender. Es wird hier alles ausgeschrieben, auch auf den europäischen Plattformen. Wir hatten vor kurzem ein Webinar zu diesem Thema. Ich werde die Kollegen in London bitten, dass sie Ihnen auch die Aufzeichnung dieses E-Tender-Workshops schicken, weil da kriegen Sie ein bisschen ein Gefühl, was es heißt, in Irland an einer Ausschreibung teilzunehmen. Wir hatten dann einen recht guten Experten, der einfach Schritt für Schritt das Ausschreibungswesen in Irland durchgegangen ist. Hier zum Thema Brexit, ich habe es jetzt nochmal verschriftlicht. Sie sehen, hier wird ab 1. Jänner einiges passieren, dass sehr viele britische Unternehmen vor allem an kleineren Aufträgen nicht mehr teilnehmen dürfen. Und das könnte auch für, sagen wir mal, österreichische Mittelständler eine gute Chance sein in Irland. Also Irland wird wahrscheinlich also so wie es aussieht, einen Löwenanteil an dem Brexit Adjustment Reserve bekommen. Das ist ein 5 Milliarden Euro Topf innerhalb des Covid-19 Recovery Plans, sollte der jetzt dann vom Europäischen Parlament beschlossen werden. Und das sind Gelder, die auch dann wieder in Infrastruktur fließen werden und Chancen in Irland einfach ermöglichen. Und das sind jetzt auch meine letzten Worte. Vielen Dank an die Kollegen in London für die Organisation. Danke, dass ich dabei sein durfte. Danke an Sie, liebe Zuhörer und Zuhörerinnen. Und ich würde mich freuen, Sie in Zukunft hier in Dublin begrüßen zu dürfen und auch meine Kollegen in London. Schönen Tag und Wiedersehen.